Yes. See here. So in the previous class, we didn't talk anything about C language. Just we talk. I talk about one simple basic introduction class. That is what is hardware and software. Okay. So see, in today's session, I will explain what are the types of softwares. Okay. So in the previous class, we discussed what is hardware and what is software. In today's session, I will explain about what are the types of softwares are there. How many types of softwares are there? What are those? Okay, those things I explain in today's class. Listen carefully here. Okay, so computer means what? Computer is a machine that can accept, store, and process the data to produce required results. So computer accepts the input, and the data will be stored. That may be temporarily or permanently. And that process the data means that performs a calculation and gives result to us. For example, in the previous class we discussed this 20 plus 30. I want to calculate it. So we are giving this data to the computer. Computer is accepting the data. So here 20 plus 30 is called input. The data which is given to the computer is called input. Now when we enter the data goes to the RAM. When we enter the data goes to the RAM. Okay, so their data will be stored, and after that performs a calculation. Processor performs a calculation. Processor has ALU and CU. Arithmetic logical unit is there and control unit is there. So arithmetical logical unit performs the calculation, and that gives result as 50. So 50 is the output to us. So 50 is the output, 20 plus 30 is the input. In between input and output, that is performing the process. So computer works on IPO formula. I stands for input, P stands for process, O stands for output. Input means the data given to the computer. Process means that performs a calculation, that process the data. Okay, that may be arithmetic calculation or logical calculation, that will be processed. Okay, output means the data given by the computer to us, that is output. Okay, so see here. So to work on computer, we need two components. Those are hardware and software. For example, we have only hardware, we don't have software. Can we work with the computer? No, we cannot. For example, we have only software, we don't have hardware. Can we work with the computer? No. So then what is hardware? Hardware means all computer parts, and study of those parts comes under hardware. So several computer parts are there, like keyboard, mouse, scanner, microphone. These are the input devices. Output devices are there, like monitor, printer, speaker. Such type of output devices are there. Storage devices are there, like hard disk, RAM. Okay, so all these are comes under processing devices are there, microprocessor, motherboard. Okay, so all computer parts and study of those parts, mechanism of those parts are comes under hardware. So it is an association of computer peripherals, means it is the group of computer peripherals. Then what is software? Yesterday we clearly discussed this point. Almost 15 minutes we discussed about software only. So what is software? The software is the set of programs. Software is a set of programs. Then what is program? Program is the set of instructions. So some set of instructions will become a program. Some set of instructions will become a program. Such type of set of programs will become a software. So here I'm taking in a value, b value. I'm reading these values. So to perform addition, I'm writing the instruction a plus b. For subtraction, I'm writing the instruction a minus b. For multiplication, I'm writing a into b. For division, I'm writing a divided by b. All these are what? These are the instructions. These are the instructions. So this set of instructions is called program. So like that, to find the square root value, I'm writing a program. This is program 2. Like this, to find power value, I'm writing another program, program 3. To find the square values, I'm writing another program, program 4. To find the cube value, I'm writing another program, program 5. So like this, I'm writing all mathematical related programs. This set of programs is becoming one mathematical related software. So what is a software? It is the set of programs. where program is a set of instructions. So you take any software, some set of programs will be there. In the program, set of instructions will be there. Yesterday I have given so many examples like college management software. Okay, to maintain the student details, to read and print, to maintain, to store. Okay, to maintain student details, we are writing a program. This is a program. To maintain marks details of the student, I'm writing a program. To maintain fee details of the student, I'm writing a program. Now this set of programs, so like this library details are there. Okay, or if hostel is there for the college, hostel details are there. Like this. So all these are what, these are the programs. So this set of programs is becoming one college management software. So regularly we are using WhatsApp. In our mobile we are using WhatsApp. Okay, so for texting we are using it. You can do chatting, you can do video calling, you can do audio calling. So to do audio call, you are using audio call button. For the audio calling, they have written a program. For video calling, they have written a program. For attaching files, to send the images, to send the documents, they have written a program. For the send button, they have written a program. Okay, so this set of programs is becoming one WhatsApp software. So like that, ATM centers are using software. In ATM center, software is there. ATM machine has software. Okay, so after entering your pin number, after inserting your card, and after entering your pin number, that is displaying a menu to us. There is withdraw option is there, deposit option is there, check balance option is there, mini statement option is there, fund transfer option is there. This is what, this is the menu. If you want to withdraw the money, you click on withdraw button. So for withdrawing the money, they have written they have written some set of instructions. So this is what, this is withdraw program. This is deposit program. This is check balance program. So this set of programs is becoming one software, on banking related software. Okay, so this is about software. So very simple definition. Software means that is the set of programs. Then what is program? Program is the set of instructions. So some set of instructions will become a program, like that some set of programs will become a software. Okay, then how many types of softwares are there? Okay, now I'm continuing the session. See, listen. uh so how many types of softwares are there? Two types are there. What are those? First one is system software, and second one is application software. Two types of softwares are there: system software and application software. Then what is system software? The system software is the software, that software used to run the system and to manage the functionality of the system, we are using it. So the software that is used to run and manage the functionality of system, we are using this system software. What are the examples for system software? Operating system, compiler, interpreter, device driver, all these are comes under system software. What are the examples for system software? Operating system, compiler, interpreter, and a device driver. Okay, then what is operating system? What is operating system? Listen, operating system is the mediator between user and computer. It is the mediator between user and the computer. Now we are the users. We are the users. We want to communicate with the computer. If we want to communicate with the computer, in that computer, we must install the operating system. Then only we can communicate with the computer. See, I'm pressing Windows button in the computer. Observe carefully here. I'm pressing Windows button in the computer. That is displaying menu. Who is providing this menu to us? Operating system. I am pressing Windows R button. That is displaying run option to me. Run dialog box. Who is providing this dialog box? Operating system. Okay. So with the help of operating system only, I'm communicating with the computer now. Okay. So see here. If operating system is not there, that will not perform booting process. System will not display first screen to you. This first screen you are calling desktop. This first screen you are calling desktop. On desktop, these are icons. Recycle bin, this PC, Google Chrome, these are icons. So this first screen I'm calling as desktop. If operating system is not there, that will not perform any booting process and that will not display this desktop to us. Who is providing this desktop? Operating system. If operating system is not there, this taskbar will not be displayed to us. This taskbar will not be displayed to us if operating system is not there. If operating system is not there, we cannot maintain our own files and folders. In the F drive, here, there is a folder, images folder is there. Okay, so in the F drive, so C, E, F, what are these? These are the drives in the hard disk. Who is displaying these drives information? Operating system. Who is maintaining this drives information? Operating system. Who is maintaining this folders information? Operating system. If operating system is not there, you cannot create folder like this. Okay, here I'm opening images. Images is a folder. In the images folder, image files are there. All these are image files. Okay, now I'm opening the image. So this is the image file. This is the image file. Okay, so this is the image file. Now I want to see how much memory occupied for this image. I want to see how much memory occupied for this image. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm right clicking on it, I'm selecting properties, that is giving information about the file to me. This file is in the F drive, in the images folder, that location. This file format is .png. Who is providing this information to us? So how much memory occupied by this one? 1.25 MB. 1.25 MB memory occupied. So when it is created, who modified it? Who accessed it? Everything will be maintained by the operating system only. If operating system is not there, you cannot create such type of folders like images, icons, C++ programs, Java programs. You cannot create folders like this. You cannot maintain files like this. And you cannot do anything with the computer. Okay, once again I'm repeating. Operating system is the mediator between user and the computer. We are the users. If we want to communicate with the computer should have operating system. If operating system is not there, that will not perform booting process, that will not display first screen to us, that does not manage the memory, that does not manage the drives, that does not maintain the folders and files. It does not do anything. So we cannot do anything with the computer if operating system is not there. So it is compulsory to work with the computer. It is used to run the computer. So the software that is used to run the computer is called a system software. So the software that is used to run the computer and manage the functionality of the computer. I want to maintain the drives information. I want to maintain the folders information. I want to maintain the files information. So all these are what? Functionality of the computer. So to open the MS Word, I am using this Windows button. Okay. Like this. To open the run dialog box, I'm using this dialog box. Okay, so all these are provided by the operating system only. So that's why I'm calling this operating system is the mediator between user and the system, user and the computer. So if you want to communicate with the computer, operating system is required. If operating system is not there, we cannot do anything. Okay, so it is the software used to run the computer and manage the functionality of the computer. So that's why this operating system comes under system software. Okay, I hope you understood very clearly. We discussed about operating system. You already know the examples for operating systems. So several companies products are there for the operating system. Okay, so in the initial days we were using MS DOS. Nowadays MS DOS coming with the Windows only for command prompt. So MS DOS provides CUI, command user interface. To perform any task we write the commands. That is not that much user friendly, so we have to remember all those commands. Okay, whereas Windows operating systems are there. This is also product of Microsoft. MS DOS stands for Microsoft Disk Operating System. In the 1970s, this was introduced. Okay, later for user-friendly Windows came. Windows operating systems. In the Windows latest version is Windows 10. Before that, several versions are there like Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows Millennium. Okay, like that, several versions are there in the Windows. Okay, so multi-user, multitasking operating systems are there like Linux. The network we use it. Unix. So Unix operating system, Linux operating system, Windows operating system, MS-DOS operating system, Mac operating system. Okay, so all these are what? These are the operating systems. So operating system is the mediator between user and computer. See, regularly we are using smartphones. Smartphones has also operating system. To communicate with the smartphone, the internally operating system is there. In the Samsung phones, they are using Android operating system. iPhones are using iOS, I operating system. Microsoft is using Windows operating system. Once upon a time, Nokia was there. In the Nokia, they were used Symbian operating system in the initial days. Now Nokia purchased it by the Microsoft. So Microsoft is using Windows operating system only now for the Nokia phones also. Okay, so like that, to communicate with the devices, this operating to communicate with the computer, operating system is required. So operating system is compulsory to run the computer. To manage the functionality of the computer, operating system is required. So operating system comes under system software. The software that is used to run and manage the functionality of the computer is called system software. Next, now I want to talk about compiler. Then what is compiler? What is compiler? See here, compiler means, this compiler is the translator. Compiler, it is a translator. Compiler is a translator. Compiler is a translator. Okay, it translates high level instructions to low level instructions, high level instructions to low level instructions, and vice versa. Means low level instructions to high level instructions. Okay, see here, for example, we are writing a program. We are writing C program. Okay, just try to understand. Even if you don't have programming knowledge, no problem at all. This is a very basic thing. See, for example, I'm writing one C program. So this is a program I'm writing. So program means what? Program is the set of instructions. Program is a set of instructions. I'm writing the instructions now. Okay, first instruction, second instruction, third instruction. So like this, I'm writing some instructions here. Now this is a C program. This is C program I'm storing in one particular file. File extension is .c for the C program. I'm giving this file name as hello. I'm giving this file name as hello. So hello.c is one C program. So the code which is in the program is called source code. The code which is in the program is called source code. So we are writing the source code. As a programmer, we are the programmers. Programmer writes this is source code and he stores in one particular file. So hello is the file name. This .c is the extension. See, for any file, extensions will be there. For the audio files, .mp3 is the extension. For video files, extensions are there like .mp4 or .3gp. Such type of extensions are there. .mpeg. So these are video files. Okay, for the paint images, .bmp is the extension. So in the mobiles, we are using so many images. Okay, for those images, extension is .jpg. For animation files, GIF. All these are what? Extensions of the files. So like that, for the C file, extension is what? .c. For the C file, extension is .c. Hello is the file name. So this is the source code. Now this source code we are writing. This source code is in the high level language. So all these are what? High level instructions. All these are the high level instructions. So computer cannot understand. Computer cannot understand it. We can understand. We are writing this code. We are using some English words to write the program. Like that, to print the data, we are writing something like this, printf, okay, hello. Like this, we are writing the English, we are writing some instructions here. Okay, for example, to read the data, we are asking the user, so please enter x value. Okay, to read that, we are writing like scanf, uh, so like this, we are writing some code. So this code cannot be understood by the computer. This is the source code. This code cannot be understood by the computer. This is human understandable code. So human understandable code is called high level code, high level instructions. So human understandable instructions are called high level instructions. Okay, so there are two types of languages. One is high level language, one is high level language, another one is low level language. There are two types of languages. One is high level language, another one is low level language. High level language and low level language. So low level language means system understandable languages. System means computer, computer system. System understandable languages. So system understandable languages are called low level languages. So this code can be directly understood by the computer, so it can directly communicate with the hardware. So this code can be directly communicated. This code can be directly communicated with the hardware, means devices, directly communicated with the devices. So system friendly languages are called low level languages. What are the examples for low level languages? Like examples are uh, machine language is there. Machine language is examples for low level language. Assembly language is example for low level language. Okay, nowadays we are not using these languages, very rarely we use. Nowadays we are not using these languages like machine language and assembly language. So machine language means the code will be in the form of zeros and ones. Code will be in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so code will be like this: 1100101011, okay, 00010, like this. So this code is called machine code. Computer can understand it, we cannot understand it. Computer can understand this one, so this is computer's language, so it can directly communicate with the hardware. And assembly language means instead of writing zeros and ones, we use some mnemonics like English words. For example, for addition, we use the mnemonic ADD. To move the cursor, MOV, to move from one place to another. For subtraction, SUB. For division, DIV. Like this, we use some mnemonics to write the code. Some code we can understand, some code we cannot understand. Okay, so this assembly language, in the assembly language means in this we write the program in the form of mnemonics. Machine language means we write the program in the form of zeros and ones. These two languages can directly communicate with the hardware, directly communicate with the devices. So these are system friendly languages, not user friendly. Understanding this code is difficult to us. These are system friendly languages. Assembly language code, by taking some time, we can understand, but not that much user friendly. Okay, so all these are called low level languages. So these are the examples for low level language. Low level languages are system understandable languages. Then what are high level languages? High level language means high level language means human understandable. So low level languages are the system understandable languages. High level languages are the human understandable languages. Human understandable languages. High level languages are human understandable languages. So these are user friendly. These are programmer friendly languages, user friendly languages. We can understand this code. We write this code. Okay, so it is human understandable language. High level language is a human understandable language. So what are the examples? What are the examples for high level languages? Like Java language is there. Java language is a high level programming language. Okay, COBOL language is there. COBOL is a high level programming language. Python language is there. Python is the high level programming language. C sharp language. All these are what? These are the high level languages. So Java, COBOL, Python, C sharp, these are the high level languages. Human friendly languages. Machine language, assembly language, these are the low level languages. Okay, so our language is high level language, computer language is low level language. Our language is high level language, computer language is zeros ones. Our language is high level language, computer language is low level language. So here we are writing the C program here. Observe, here we are writing the C program. That C program has code, some code. I'm calling that as a source code. Now this source code is in high level language. Computer cannot understand it. Computer can understand only zeros and ones. Computer can understand only zeros and ones. Okay, it cannot understand high level language code. So now we have to translate this high level code to the low level code, computer understandable code. From human understandable code to computer understandable code, we have to convert. So for that, one translator is required. So to convert high level code to the low level code and low level code to the high level code, one translator is required. That translator I'm calling as compiler. So compiler is the translator. It translates high level instructions to the low level instructions and vice versa, and low level instructions to the high level instructions. Okay, so this is the see, this is a C program. This is a C program. So after writing the C program, what we do is we compile it. See, source code means, see here, let me open. Source code means we are writing the code. Observe here, I'm opening some uh, existing programs, like previous CPP programs are there, like, just a minute. See, someone asking about source code examples. So I'm showing the source code examples. See, see here, this is called a source code. This is the source code. This is one C++ program. We are writing it. Okay, so this is the CPP program. This is called source code. We are writing this code. Okay, so please take 100 value and store that in the X. We are giving the instruction. Source code means set of instructions we are writing. Source code means program only. So this code is called source code. Okay, so I'm opening one Java program here. See, this is what? This is the source code. This is the code we are writing. So like that, in the C language also we write the instructions. So I already written, somewhere I written here. See, maybe I deleted that. So I have written like printf. See, to print hello on output screen, we write like this, printf hello. Okay, I want to read a value from the keyboard. I want to read a value from the keyboard. So for that, I'm asking the user, please print, please enter X value. I'm giving this instruction. Okay, so to read that value and store into the memory, we write scanf %d comma X, like this. Okay, so to read two values from the keyboard, we write enter X comma Y, like this. %d %d. So what are these things? I will explain. Just one example program I'm showing you. I want to print addition value. So to print addition value, we write printf sum equals to %d. %d refers to X plus Y. X plus Y value we are printing. Or otherwise, you can store that value in one variable and you can print. So this is called source code. This is called source code. Okay, so this is the source code. Okay, Zaryab Sayed. Okay, so this is source code, this is C program we are writing. So this is in which language? High level language. We can understand, computer cannot understand it. Okay, so this is the source code, this is in high level language, computer cannot understand it. Computers can understand only zeros and ones. That is a computer language. Computer language is binary language. Computer can understand only zeros, ones. Okay, so we have to convert this source code to the machine code, computer understandable code. So for that, we use one translator here. That translator is called compiler. So what compiler will do? Compiler translates this high level code to the low level code. Compiler translates high level code to the low level code. .exe. Okay, so hello.exe. Exe file is created. So this exe file has machine code which can be understood by the operating system. So operating system displays output to us. So this is the execution process of a C program. Later again we will discuss about it. Just the point to understand is here, this is the compiler. This one is the compiler. This compiler is translating high level code to the low level code. So this exe file has the code that is in the low level. So our language is high level language, computer language is low level language. We are writing the program that is high level code, computer cannot understand it. So for computer understanding purpose, we are compiling the program. Okay, so compiler is translating the high level instructions to the low level instructions. So this compiler is a translator. Okay, similarly interpreter is there. This interpreter is also same. Interpreter is also translator. See here, interpreter. So this interpreter is also translator. It is a translator, and that also translates high level instructions to the low level instructions. So interpreter is a translator. Interpreter is a translator that translates high level instructions to the low level instructions and low level instructions to the high level instructions. So the duty of compiler and the duty of interpreter is same. Then what is the difference here? The difference is compiler translates all instructions at a time. Compiler translates all instructions at a time. Compiler translates from high level code to the low level code at a time. All instructions at a time. Compiler translates all instructions at a time from high level to low level. Whereas this interpreter translates line by line. Interpreter translates line by line. After translating one line, that translates another line. So interpreter translates line by line, compiler translates all instructions at a time. So to understand this compiler and interpreter, I will give one simple example to you. So with this, you will get more clarity. See, very simple example I am giving, general example. For example, here two persons are there. This is the first person, and this one is the second person. Okay, first person is the Telangana person. He knows only one language, Telugu language. Okay, second person is Gujarat state person. He knows only one language, Gujarati language. So first person knows only one language, Telugu language. Second person knows only one language, Gujarati language. Now they want to communicate with each other. But communication is not possible now because this person knows only Telugu language. So if this person talked something, this Gujarati person cannot understand it. If this Gujarati person talks something in the Gujarati, this Telugu person cannot understand that one because he don't know Gujarati. So communication problem is occurring here. So this person knows only Telugu language. He is talking in Telugu. This person is not understanding that one. And this person is talking in Gujarati. This person is not understanding that one. So communication problem is occurring. But now they want to communicate with each other. For example, okay, they want to communicate with each other. So that's why what they did is they met another person, third person, they met another person, third person, who knows Telugu language and Gujarati language, who knows two languages. So if this person talks in Telugu, this person translates that into the Gujarati. If this person talks in Gujarati, this person translates that into the Telugu. So this third person is working like a translator. If this person is talking in the Telugu, this person translating that into the Gujarati. If this person is talking in Gujarati, this person is translating that into the Telugu. So this person is working like a translator. He knows two languages. That's why he works like translator. Similarly, our language is our language is high level language. Computer language is low level language. So our language is English like words will be there. We can understand. Okay, low level language means zero side words. So our language cannot be understood by the computer. Computer cannot understand our language. So that's why some translators are required. So we are using the translators like compiler or interpreter. As per our requirement, we can use them. Based on the performance, based on the requirement, we use either compiler or interpreter or both sometimes. Okay. So this our language is high level language, computer language is low level language. So computer cannot understand our language, we cannot understand computer language. So that's why we are using some translators. Those translator softwares are compilers and interpreters. Compiler is the software, interpreter is the software. So they translate high level instructions to the low level instructions and low level instructions to the high level instructions. Then what is the difference between compiler and interpreter? Compiler translates all instructions at a time. For example, see here. This person, this Telugu person is talking 10 sentences. Telugu person is talking 10 sentences. Okay, this translator person, this third person who knows Telugu Gujarati language, so he is listening all those 10 sentences. After listening all those 10 sentences, at a time those 10 sentences is translating into the Gujarati. At a time he is translating 10 sentences. At a time he is translating means what? Just like compiler. Similarly, in our program, if 100 lines are there, these 100 lines instructions will be translated into the low level language at a time. All instructions will be translated at a time. If 1000 instructions are there, those 1000 instructions will be translated at a time. Okay, so that is compiler. Interpreter means that translates line by line. After translating one line into the low level language, that translates another line into the low level language, like that. So interpret, for example, here this person is talking one sentence in Telugu, and this third person is listening that one. He is translating that one sentence to the Gujarati person. So next, this Telugu person talking another sentence, and he is translating into the Gujarati. So like this, one sentence by sentence is translating, just like interpreter. Or if this person is talking 10 sentences at a time, this 10 sentences is listening, those 10 sentences at a time he is translating, compiler. So compiler translates all instructions at a time. Interpreter translates line by line. Remember one point, among these two, sometimes interpreter gets executed faster, sometimes compiler gets executed faster. If any loops are there, recursions are there, then compiler works faster. If single statements are there, then interpreter works faster. Sometimes interpreter works fast, sometimes compiler works fast. So based on our requirement, we use either compiler or interpreter. Sometimes we use both also. Okay, so this is about compiler and interpreter. Very clearly we discussed, very simple. The single sentence for the compiler and interpreters is, these are the compilers, sorry, these are the translators. Compiler and interpreter, these are the translator. Compiler, interpreter are the translators. Compiler, interpreters translate high level code to the low level code and low level code to the high level code. That is the purpose of compilers and interpreters. That's it. Okay, so these are used to run the computer. If compilers and interpreters are not there, what happens? We cannot understand computer language. Computer cannot understand our language. Communication problem will occur. So these are also used to run the computer. Compiler and interpreter are also used to run the computer and manage the functionality of the computer. These are required. So the software that is compulsory to run the computer or comes under system software. So operating system, compiler, interpreter or comes under system software. And next one is what? Device driver. Next one is the device driver. Now say about device driver. So what is this device driver? This device driver is the software. It is the mediator between devices and the system. It is the mediator between devices and operating system. It is a mediator between devices and operating system. Device driver software is the mediator between devices and the system. So to work with any device, this device driver software is required. To work with any device, device driver software is required. Device driver software is required. So without this device driver software, without this work with any device, device driver software is required. Without this device driver software, we cannot communicate with the device. So operating system implicitly uses this device driver software to communicate with the devices. Okay, for example, see here. For example, see, if you understand this example, you will get more clarity. Okay, see here. Listen carefully here. For example, this is my computer, desktop computer. This is my computer, desktop computer. So this is monitor. This one is the keyboard, and this one is the CPU. Okay, so to the CPU, mouse is connected and keyboard is connected. Input devices are connected. Okay, this is my computer. This is my computer. Now I want to take the printouts. I want to take the printouts. So to take the printouts, one device is required. What is that one? Printer. You already know this. So I want to take the printouts. So to take the printouts, printer is required. To take the printouts, printer is required. But I don't have printer. So what I did is I purchased a new printer. I purchased a new printer and I connected to my system. I connected to my system. I purchased a new printer. This is a printer. Okay, now can I take the printouts directly? No. Just I purchased the printer and I connected to my computer. Now can I take the printouts? Means no, we cannot. After connecting the printer, we must install printer drivers. We must install printer drivers. So whenever you purchase the printer, along with the printer, they will give one CD to you. They will give one CD to you or DVD to you. The DVD contains what? Printer drivers. Or nowadays technology is becoming advanced. They are providing URL. For example, that is HP company printer. Okay, that HP company, in the HP company website, this driver software will be available. They will give link to us. From the link, we can download it. Okay. So we have to install that printer drivers. So now I'm installing the printer drivers. So after installing the printer drivers, can we take the printouts? Yes, now we can. So now the point to understand is to communicate with the printer, we use one software. What is that? Printer driver software. So if these printer drivers are not there, even if you have printer, no use. This printer cannot communicate with the operating system now. Communication problem is occurring. So to fill this communication gap, here, what we are installing? We are installing, just a minute. to fill, so communication gap is there between printer and operating system. So to fill that gap, what we are installing, device driver software, printer drivers. Okay, simply you can say printer drivers. Printer is the device. Printer drivers we are installing to communicate with the printer. Similarly, for example, okay, in the online, for example, you want to apply for one entrance exam. Okay, you want to apply for one entrance exam like MSET or NEET. Okay, if you want to apply for the any exam, okay, you fill the form. So whenever you are filling the form, he asks your photo or your signature. So you have to scan your photograph or you have to scan your signature. So for that, for scanning purpose, we use a device. What is that one? Scanner. So to scan the images, I purchased a new scanner and I connected to my system. Now I want to scan the images. Now this scanner device cannot directly communicate with the operating system which is installed in this computer. Okay, so for that, what are required now? Scanner drivers are required. Scanner drivers are required. If scanner drivers are not there, you cannot communicate with the scanner. Okay, so like this, to work with any device, driver software is required. Remember this point. So to work with the printer, printer drivers are required. To work with the printer, printer drivers are required. To work with the scanner, scanner drivers are required. Scanner drivers are required. To work with the web camera drivers are required. Webcam drivers. Okay, see now here I'm writing something. Here I'm writing something. Hello, how are you? I'm writing something. So to write this, I'm using one pen here. I'm using writing pad here. On writing pad, I'm writing with the pen. On my writing pad, I'm writing with the pen. So this write pad is one input device. So to write on screen like this, so I want to use this writing pad. I want to use this writing pad. So to use this writing pad, first I purchased this writing pad and I connected to my system. Okay, then I install the drivers. See, Wacom company. So this is Wacom company drivers. So drivers updated. Okay, like this. So driver software is in the Wacom website. From the Wacom website, I downloaded the driver software. Okay. So every time they are sending updates to me. So drivers are updated, please update. They are sending instructions to me. So this driver software is available in the Wacom website. From the Wacom website, I installed this driver software. So to communicate with this writing pad, okay, to communicate with this writing pad, I installed what? Device driver software. That's it. So to communicate with any device, device driver software is required. Remember this. To work with the keyboard mouse also, device driver software is required. They come along with the operating system. When you install the operating system, at that time only they will come. See, once upon a time we were using Windows or 98, Windows 95, Windows 98, or Windows XP. At that time, to work with the speakers, sound drivers are required. To work with the speaker, sound drivers are required. Sound drivers. At that time, sound drivers we were installing explicitly. Nowadays, sound drivers are coming along with the operating system only. So once upon a time, we were downloading the soft sound, we were installing sound drivers explicitly. Nowadays, sound drivers are coming along with the operating system. So to communicate with the speaker, sound drivers are required. Okay. In the monitor, so much clarity is there because of VGA drivers. Monitor has so much clarity so because of VGA drivers. So to communicate with the monitor, VGA drivers are required. They also come along with the operating system only. To communicate with the keyboard drivers are required. To communicate with the mouse drivers are required. So these keyboard drivers, mouse drivers, sound drivers, and VGA drivers, these softwares come along with the operating system. Once upon a time, we were installing them explicitly. Nowadays, they are coming implicitly with the help with operating system only. But these for other devices, like, so these are the common devices for anyone: speaker, monitor, These are the common devices. So they are coming along with the operating system. But this printer is not common device. Some members may purchase, some members may not purchase. Scanner is not common device. Some members may purchase, some members may not purchase. So these will not come along with the operating system. So we have to install them separately according to the company model. Drivers will be there. Those drivers will be installed in our computer. Okay. So this is about device drivers. So now very clearly we discussed about system software. Very clearly we discussed what are the examples for system software: operating system, compiler, interpreter, and device driver. So all these softwares are compulsory to run the system. So the software that is used to run the system and manage the functionality of the system is called system software. So operating system, if operating system is not there, that will not perform any booting process, that does not maintain the folders and files, that does not manage the memory, that does not manage the drives, that does not communicate with the devices. You cannot do anything without operating system. And these compilers and interpreters, these are the translators. Compilers, interpreters are the translators. They translate high level code to the low level code and low level code to the high level code. Our language is a high level language, computer language is low level language. So to fill the communication gap, we are using compilers and interpreters. Okay. Then what is the difference between, so compiler is the translator, interpreter is the translator, both are translating high level code to the low level code, but the difference is compiler translates all instructions at a time, interpreter translates line by line. So sometimes interpreter executed faster, sometimes compiler gets executed faster. So based on our requirement, we use them. Next, device driver software. This device driver software is the mediator between operating system and the device. So operating system takes the help of this device driver software to communicate with the devices. Operating system is taking the printer driver's help to communicate with the printer. Operating system is taking the help of scanner drivers to communicate with the scanner. Okay. Now, so this is about system software. So if operating system compilers, if operating system is not there, we cannot do anything. We cannot communicate with the devices. That will not display first screen. That does not manage the memory. We cannot do anything. If compiler interpreters are not there, we cannot understand computer language. Computer cannot understand our language. Communication problem will occur. If device driver software is not there, we cannot communicate with the devices. So all these softwares are compulsory to run the system. So there's the software that is used to run the system, that is compulsory to run the system. Those softwares are comes under system software. And the next one is application software. Then what is application software? Okay, so after completion of this application software, I stop the session. Listen carefully. You already know regularly you are using several application softwares, but you may don't know the term. Some members may know. Okay, so application software. So regularly in our phone, we are using several games softwares. Okay, several games are there. Okay, so all those games are comes under application software only. Temple Run, Candy Crush. Okay, so type of game softwares are comes under application softwares only. So if you want to play the games, you install the games. In the computer also you can play the games. If you want to play the games, you install the games. Otherwise, you will not install the game software. Okay, so you are using WhatsApp. You are using WhatsApp. What is that one? Application software only. If I want to do the chatting, or I want to do voice chatting, okay, or I want to do video calling, in such type of situations I use it. If my requirement is not that one, I will not install WhatsApp in my computer or in my phone, like that. So to perform particular applications, we use this software. So application software is the software used to perform particular applications. Used to perform particular applications. As per our requirement, we use them. Particular applications. Okay. For example, here games. If you want to play the games, we are installing it. So playing game is our task. Okay. Texting to friends, chatting, okay, video calling, audio calling. If that is our requirement, we use WhatsApp. Okay. Or for payments, you are using GPay or Phone Pay, online payments. Okay, all these are what? These are the application softwares only. I want to edit the photos. So to edit the photos, we are using what? Photoshop. Okay, I want to read PDF files. So to read the PDF files, we are using Acrobat Reader. I want to create the documents. To create the documents, we are using MS Word. I want to create the presentations. To create the presentations, I am using MS PowerPoint. Okay, the C language. To practice the C language, you install code blocks or developer C++ or edit plus. All those editors are comes under application software only. C software, C++ software, all languages softwares like C, C++ software, okay, Java software. Now you are learning C language. If you want to practice C programs, you install the C software. If you don't want to practice the C programs, then you will not install. So if required, you are installing. If not required, you are not installing. Such type of softwares are called application softwares. So to perform particular applications, to write the C programs, we are using C software. Okay, so like that, several accounting packages are there. So to perform accounting applications, several accounting packages are there like Tally, Wings, Focus, Peachtree. Accounting packages are there. Database management softwares are there like Oracle, MySQL. In the Facebook, you are entering the data. The data will be stored in the back end in the one software in MySQL. So whenever you are creating the Gmail ID, you are filling a form. The data will be stored in one database management software. They may use like Oracle, MySQL, or SQL Server, such type of database management softwares they used. Okay. So all the languages like C, C++, Java, so all the database management softwares like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, all the accounting packages like Tally, Wings, Focus, Peachtree. Okay, this MS Office, Acrobat Reader, Photoshop, all these are comes under application software only. See, regularly we are watching in the shopping malls. Shopping mall is using their own software. Okay, or every month when electricity department person comes to our home and he gives electricity bill to us, that is electricity department software. Okay, to maintain the student details, colleges are using their own software, college management software. Restaurants are using their own software to maintain their daily collection, monthly collection, yearly collection, like that. So restaurant management software. Banks are using their own management software, bank management software. All these are what? All these are the application softwares only. See, to develop this type of shopping mall softwares, electricity department software, restaurant management softwares only, we are learning the languages like C language, C++ language, Java language. Why we are learning all this? To develop this type of application softwares only. Okay, so all these are examples for application softwares. So we using one software, we perform particular applications. So such type of softwares are called application softwares. So this is about hardware and software, so very basic things we discussed. Okay, so this knowledge is required as a programmer. This knowledge is required. So many students come from the non-computer background, so that's why I explained this basic these basic things. So on Monday, so tomorrow is a holiday, so tomorrow is Sunday, so Sunday is a holiday. Okay, and on Monday I will start the actual C language. Okay, I will explain what are the features of C language. So before C language, which languages were there? what are the purpose of what is the purpose of those languages, then why C language came, why they introduced it, what is the specialty of C language. C language introduced in the 1970s, now we are in the 2020s, now also we are learning C language. What is the significance of it, why we have to learn the C language? Okay, see, mainly after introduction of this C language, after introduction of C language, these low level languages like assembly language, machine language, they became outdated. Because using C language you can develop the, using high level languages we develop the application software. Using high level languages, using high level languages we develop the application software. Using high level languages, so using, yes, Zeriap, today's class will be uploaded in the YouTube, no problem. So by today evening you may get, by today afternoon or today evening you may get, so this class will be uploaded in the YouTube. Okay, please subscribe Durgasoft channel, there you find Durgasoft channel videos. So in that this class will be uploaded. After completion of your registration process, recorded videos will be stored in the Google Drive, so those videos you can access. Okay, so using high level languages we develop the application software. So to develop the application software, high level languages are suitable. To develop the system software, low level languages are suitable. To develop the system software, low level languages are suitable. So to develop the system software, once upon a time we were using machine language and assembly language. Okay, so once upon a time we were using these languages, but nowadays to develop the low level operating systems, to develop the compilers, interpreters, nowadays we are using C++ only. So after introduction of C++, these low level languages became outdated. In very rare cases we use them. Okay, so all those things, so what are the features of C language, all those things I will clearly discuss on Monday. Okay, now I'm stopping the session. Okay,